Hey guys, on Instagram right now, at It's Just a Six, I'm giving away this 2017 Honda motorcycle with 2,000 miles on it, literally completely free. You've just got to go to the post, tag your friends, and follow me on Instagram, and that's it. We're gonna announce the winner in Sunday's video, so make sure you go to the post, tag your friends, and don't forget, our giveaway with the GT350 is going on right now at itsjustasix.com. Let's get into the video.
Stall it up higher. There you go.
I told you guys that we were going to be doing some stuff to this truck before we go all out with our big build that we were planning, and now is the time. But before we do our mods that I've got in store, we wanted to dyno the truck and see what it does, just get some baseline numbers so we know before and after. Kind of just to see what this thing really does, because after we raced this truck and that truck, it was pretty bad. It was like really, really bad. We know what the other truck made. I'm confused why this one lost so bad. But again, it's an NA stock tuned F-150. So, I mean, not too crazy surprise. This is crazy looking. This thing is huge. Oh God, it's hanging off this side though. Yeah.
You should be able to roll it a little bit.
Yeah, and get it straight. This truck is a little wider than most of the stuff that we have on dyno. Like I said, we've got a lot of stuff planned for this truck in the next few days as far as mods go. We're gonna get some baseline numbers from this thing, see what it does. Completely stock, literally 100% stock. We're even still in the stock tune. Shelby did not do anything. So this is a bone stock 10-speed F-150, and we're about to find out what it makes. Sure, I'm gonna guess like 328.
I'm gonna be a little optimistic. I'll say 363.
Really?
363.
I figured because it's 10 speed, it might lose a decent bit.
Yeah, well, we're gonna run it 7th gear. So 7th gear is 1-to-1.
Is it really? Damn. This is definitely a sight to see. This thing is much, much bigger than anything we've had up here. I can't even literally look. I can't look. Can you see the top of my hand?
Yeah, the tip of your finger.
This is our first time with this truck on the dyno, so we're slowly figuring it out. We're not trying to do anything crazy yet. Obviously, it's only going to make 300 horsepower, but anyway, getting it spun out. We've never had anything quite this big on here before. It's pretty funny to look at. All right, let's give it a shot. Let's go.
We can try it in like 5th gear or something just to see.
We were just out laughing because I was like, oh, it must have cut off, it didn't work again. He was like, nah, it literally ran up to the speed limiter. It's at 103, I forgot, is the stock governor on this freaking F-150. This truck's gonna be
101 or 103 or something like that.
Yeah.
It literally did it.
Yeah.
Stopped and RPM stop was like.
Yep, it's definitely 103.
It was like 101 or 103.
Yep, yeah. Well, that sucks. We're not gonna be able to run it at 1-to-1 gear because it literally just miles per hour faster than the truck can even go. So yeah, Doug just brought up a good point. He said basically what we're gonna have to do, since this truck's still in the stock tune, we'll run it in 5th gear, see if we can get a full pull out of 5th gear, and if so, then after we do the mods to compare how much power we actually gain, we'll dyno it again in 5th, but once we wanna figure out how much power the truck is actually making, we'll put it in 7th gear, but the only way that we can do that is after the mods, so. No big deal.
We'll have to mess with the RPM pickup later, but that's just speed, and that shows you. Actually, I don't know why it's not showing max horsepower right now. There you go.
Oh damn.
333, 338. Yeah, I forgot our dyno rate's a little low, so that's not bad.
338, 333, bone stock F-150, no tune, and not even in a 1-to-1 gear, so not terrible. Looking to see a 1,000 over that one day. I hope we come back and look at this video in remembrance of the time that this truck made 330 horsepower.
This time that it got by ships.
Yeah. I remember back in the day how much power it took to make that amount of power. I remember back in the day on the Chevy truck how much power I really remember whenever I first picked this truck up, how much work that I had to do just to get this thing to make that power, which is funny. So it's very obvious that the reason that this truck definitely gapped the other truck is because it makes a lot more power. Off spray probably weighs less at this point because of how gutted it is. But no, that definitely makes sense. It's probably a little bit heavier of a truck at this point. The four-wheel drive does not make a difference whenever you're racing the two because of the fact that it just doesn't make enough power to really use that four-wheel drive to make a difference. Once it's making pretty good power, two-wheel drive is just not gonna hook. So four-wheel drive is definitely gonna come in handy then, but because the truck is making such little power, putting it in four-wheel drive actually just slows it down because it's more drivetrain loss. So two-wheel drive, it's not gonna spin. That concludes our findings of why the Chevy truck beat the Super Snake. But anyway, a little bit of goodies here I want to show you guys. We picked up off of Facebook Marketplace a PMAS intake for an F-150. We also got some goodies here that the EPA really wants me to talk about on camera, but I'm not going to. Deductive skills, you guys can come up with what you think that is. And also, aside from those two things, we've got something even cooler. We've got an intake manifold off of a 2020 Mustang. So this is a Gen 3 Mustang manifold. The difference between this and the truck manifolds are that this one allows us to flow a lot. Doug's gonna be porting it, so this thing is gonna flow a pretty good bit. It's probably gonna pick up a good bit for NA, but it's also gonna let us rev up a little bit higher. This intake is a lot better than the truck manifold that's on there. Even though they look very similar, there are a lot of differences in the runners. These intakes are meant for a truck, so it's meant to make a lot of low end torque and it doesn't really have to rev that high. But with the Mustang manifold, we will take that exact same Gen 3 Coyote that is in there and really wake it up. So between the intake, probably gonna port a throttle body if I know Doug, and probably gonna port the manifold. This truck is going to pick up a good bit, and I hope you guys are ready. Basically what we're planning on doing is we're gonna do like an interim NA setup just so we can go kick a little bit of ass with this truck and show what it can do NA. Because these trucks with 10 speeds are surprisingly fast, completely NA. It's very surprising, and I wanna show you guys what I mean by that. But these trucks just from a tune only wake up so much that it is unreal, and we're gonna be doing a good bit of mods, tuning it, taking it back out and seeing what it does, and I have a feeling it's gonna be a lot quicker. Let's go. Doug went ahead and ported our manifold here. Looking pretty good. This thing should flow amazing. I want to give a huge thanks to Lethal Performance for helping us source these parts as well. Really appreciate it. If you guys want to go check them out, you can click the link down below and go grab your part. They've got a lot of parts for a lot of stuff like this, so they help us out a good bit. Before we take the intake manifold and intake and all of that stuff pulled off to put on the new stuff, whenever we do all of that, we're going to actually have to go through and tune the entire truck. But first, before we do that, we're going to do our exhaust stuff. That way we can show you guys what the exhaust sounds like before we get started pulling everything else off, because I'm impatient. I want to hear what it sounds like. That bitch came out at us.
I knew it was gonna happen too.
All right, le truck is back on the ground. You want to do a start?
Yeah.
We're gonna start this thing up and see what it sounds like. Hopefully it sounds good. This is a cold start. It is pretty mild still. So that is our new NA exhaust sound. Not really too crazy, but it's a little bit louder. Not too shabby. So yeah, it's not a Corsa exhaust, but it'll do. The good news is that we might not even need that exhaust for too much longer anyway. Now that our exhaust work is done, we can go ahead and get started installing our Facebook Marketplace picked up intake. And as I've been talking about, we've got our new intake manifold over here. After we get those two installed, Doug's gonna do a quick bass tune on it. We're gonna get everything working out, and then after that, he's gonna put it up on the dyno. We're gonna hopefully get it tuned, and then take it out on the street and see what that thing is about. Doug says that this is called the Dolphin.
Something like that.
This topside creeper actually comes in handy a pretty good bit with doing stuff like this. The engine bays on these trucks, the engines are pushed so far back that it's so hard to get to anything. My little arms, I can't even reach.
I'm trying to get one of them damn safety clips. I hate these white safety clips on the gun.
So there we go. Manifold released from the truck's grasp. This is actually my first time getting to see anything direct injection. So that's interesting. Underneath here, if you guys see, there's a lot actually that's going on that looks a little bit different from anything that we've seen. Pretty cool.
So you see the height difference on this?
Oh,
as far as,
yeah, actually,
I mean, it's a little bit different, but
it's actually like a good probably 2 inches taller.
Yeah, so longer runners, better torque, shorter runners, And of course this one's actually done pretty well to retain some torque with the intake manifold runner controls. But generally shorter runners equals better high-end power. It just kind of shifts your power band one way or the other. So longer runner makes more torque and kind of rolls off up top, so they use that for the trucks. Short ones, of course, they're going to want to use for more cars, high RPM, stuff like that.
And that's exactly why we're putting the car manifold into the truck. I know it seems dumb that we're replacing an original Ford part with another Ford part, but the difference, like Doug said, in the truck manifold and Mustang manifold are pretty significant, especially for higher RPM stuff and higher horsepower, which is actually what we're about to get started doing with this truck. We want to make sure that we have something that can support it and make sense. So that manifold, especially after Doug got done porting it, should outflow that truck's manifold by a very good bit.
Yeah, we're using a factory unported throttle body right now because the truck is still running, but we may end up taking it off and porting this at some point too. But
yeah,
pretty minimal gains. There's just a small lip there.
Yeah, sure, we'll have it all back apart before we go to the next stage anyway.
Yeah.
So between the manifold, our exhaust work, and also our intake that we're about to install after that manifold gets put back on, thinking that we're going to pick up a pretty good bit, especially with the tune, with the shift points being able to change, being able to rev out instead of having, I think it's a ridiculous rev limit right now. Let me see what it's even set at. Truck is governed to 103 miles per hour and it shifts at 5,500 RPM.
I think it actually shifts to
62. The red line right there starts at 55, so I don't know where I guess the limiter might be at 62. But anyways, you guys get the point. It's pretty funny. All right, there you guys go. Manifold is installed into the engine bay. Everything is ready to go. Plugs back plugged, injectors back in, fuel rails back in. Next thing, we're gonna hook up our intake, get it all connected, get the intake box bolted down over there. So fitment issue, kind of barely right there. We're gonna get that worked out. But basically the reason that this intake does not fit quite as well is because obviously we've got a different manifold. Throttle body's mounted in a different location, so the intake is gonna be a little bit out of whack from how it would be on a stock truck manifold, but
just a big deal. Yeah, we'll get it to work around just fine.
Looky there, intake box is sealed down up top. Doug's getting the rest of these clamps tightened down right now, but everything looks pretty dang good. Fit in there very nice. New manifold is tucked up in there pretty nicely. Doug's gonna finish tightening everything up. We're gonna flash a base tune on the truck to get it started. See that intake suck. Nice. Yeah. It's doing its job. All right, a little bit of an update for you guys. Doug says, hey, you need to come and drive this truck. And I say, why? And Doug says, well, it got real fast.
I mean, we're not done yet. This is like revision 1.
So Doug is still working on the tune on the truck, of course, but he said that after the base map and after doing a few tweaks, he was seriously so shocked at how fast the truck was that he told me that I needed to get in, grab a camera, and come film it. But he's been working on the tune. I have no idea what it's even like yet, so I'm gonna throw a GoPro on the windshield and go take it out. Now remember, this is still just an NA 10-speed. All it's got done to it right now are some very small exhaust modifications, intake manifold that's ported, and an intake. That is it. You remember whenever we raced the race truck and this truck, it wasn't really even a close race, but that was on the stock tune and it had nothing done to it. It was still very restrictive. And so now Doug has put his magic on it and we're gonna go take it out, see what an NA Super Snake can do. So Doug said the first thing that we should probably try is on our way out to Mexico going to test it, we should do a 4-wheel drive launch just to see. And whenever we were running the two trucks, I did a 2-wheel drive launch and we didn't even spin the tires at all.
Oh, it did this time.
Did it?
Oh, yeah.
It didn't even chirp them whenever I took it out.
Oh, no, it didn't even hold it.
Really?
No, it's lit them up.
I can tell it's faster because you got real chipper. Yeah. You got a real chipper, so it must be pretty quick.
Stall it up higher. There you go.
That was to 85.
Yeah.
Holy fuck.
And that's still, I'm still trying to get it to ramp in harder. It's doing some torque modulation with the trans right now that I've got to get some reduction going, but we'll see.
Yeah.
so I got to figure it out. Like I said, there's like 300 maps in the 10R settings. So
this is Doug's first time tuning a 10R80 transmission, and I mean, it's very, very, very complicated. It's so far over my head, in fact, that he was showing me a second ago some of the maps and stuff he's working on. It's just, it is quite ridiculous, but it seems like it's working pretty fucking well.
Keep going down. First gear.
Well, let me.
Okay.
60, 70, 80, 90. Past 103.
Oh yeah, it definitely goes past 103.
Fuck. Hell, good shit.
Yeah.
Damn.
It's liking it.
Damn. Yeah, it's definitely liking it. It looks like it's running good too. I don't see any rich smoke burning off, nothing. Let's do third gear. 70, 80, 90. This thing is quick.
Oh yeah.
Like, holy shit quick.
The launch though, whenever it comes off,
Yeah.
I got to get it to come off the line a little bit harder. And I think that's more trans settings that are reducing it right there.
Right.
But once we get that figured out, it should leave pretty good.
I really wish that you guys could see how much faster this truck is now than when it was stock. Like it's actually pretty surprising. I don't even know.
Yeah.
I don't even know how to word it.
quicker.
I would say it's probably about a second and a half quicker in the quarter. It
Yeah.
probably would have ran like a, I don't even know, like
14
a
or something.
13.8, yeah, 13.5. I'd say probably now should be a mid to high 12-second truck maybe. I am pretty damn impressed. Like I told you guys, this was not even necessarily in the plans per se. We weren't even planning on necessarily having an NA truck for that long. But we figured that since we had the truck, we were waiting on parts anyways, we might as well do an NA setup. And so we threw some stuff on here and it's impressive. Good shit.
Hell yeah. We're getting somewhere with it.
That is pretty damn cool. That launch is not a joke either, and that's only NA. That's crazy. All right, guys, seriously, this thing is getting very, very fast. Doug's gonna do a few more revisions on it. We're gonna throw this thing up on the dyno, find out how much power that it's making now that we have done a few mods to it. And then after that, next video that you guys are gonna see with this truck is gonna be us taking out against the giveaway GT350, which we are actually giving away right now at www.itsjust6.com. But anyways, this car right here, we're gonna take it out. This thing is not a slouch. It is stock still, but the GT350s, as you guys know, are actually pretty damn quick, even being stock. If that car can be a benchmark as a very fast NA car, that truck keeping up with it would be just mind-blowing. So I feel like the truck and the GT350, that's a pretty damn good benchmark to find out how quick the thing actually is.